Right, welcome back to the View from the Allotment End podcast. It's been quite a while since we've done one. In fact, when we look back, it was over a year. A lot's happened in that time, which we will touch upon in a minute, but do the introductions first. The usual faces are around the table. To my immediate right is Housewife's favourite, Nick Quantrill, at Nick Quantrill on Twitter. To his right is Rick Skelton, Hull City Live on Twitter, resident Hull City expert. And to Rick's right is, Maria really, man with the cam, Pete Fleming, East Hull Pete on Twitter. Hull City Supporters Trust Treasurer. We'll get on to City later on. We normally do it in 3 bits, but due to Ferriby's unfortunate demise at the back of the last season and subsequent reforming in a lower league, we'll cover Ferriby's division and the Northern Counties all in one go, because that's where Ferriby currently find themselves in the Northern Counties East League Division 1. At step 6, reborn after going under, basically. 8 months ago, the club has reformed, thanks to Les Hare and 1 or 2 other local businessmen. On the pitch, it's been we'll turn to our resident expert, Nick Quantrill, ask him what he thinks of events on the pitch. If we were to do a school report on the opening dozen games, Nick, what would you think would be the school report would say? What grade would Ferriby get?
What grade? I think it's probably they're around B minus at the moment. It's been a solid start, if a little bit unspectacular. And I think there's probably a little bit of anticipation around the start of this season, and a lot of sense that because them players have played a little bit high with the club before and come close to holding their own on occasions, that this kind of lower level would be a bit of a procession to when a promotion spot would be relatively easy for them to achieve. And I think we've sat around here using enough Northern Counties football to know that it's not an easy division to play in, maybe for different reasons than people expected. So it's been a solid start. I think there's a few issues on the pitch and that aren't quite sort of like clicking at the moment. I've just written a piece for the fanzine. And I think Ferriby are the 5th lowest goal scorer in the division, despite being whatever it is 6th or 7th in the table. But the other side of the coin, obviously, is that they'll be the best defence in the table by some distance as well. And I think there's elements of luck inherently. The woodworkers come to the opposition's rescue an awful lot against Ferriby this season.
Twice, haven't they?
Yeah. Injuries don't help at times, have they? People losing people like Danny Emerton. Some of you sort of like more potent attackers. Tom Corner's suspension for 3 matches when he received that harsh red against Retford, I can't remember now, but it was a harsh red at the time, wasn't it? I don't know, maybe this kind of 4-3-3 that Chris Boulder favours maybe done quite the best at the strike he's got available, possibly. And maybe there's, a lot of the other teams we've seen tend to play that big target on up front, don't we? And we're trying to be a little bit pretty than that, and especially away from home, it's not necessarily clicking, is it, in that sense?
No, I think we're happy to see the start pre-season. We're happy to see the nice flowing passing football, which is we had the previous season in the Northern Premier League, which we tried to play, sometimes successfully, sometimes not. It was nice to see it back in action. But 12 games, I think you're right. I think we do need a bit of a plan B sometimes. Rick, you've seen enough Ferriby games this season. What's your take been on the proceedings so far?
Yeah, I think slightly disappointing, I would say. I think Nick's set the case right. It's not as easy a division as you think it will be.
Yeah.
But I think with the quality that they've got, minus injuries, I think they probably should be doing better. And from my point of view, I thought they had a decent start. When we went to Winterton the other week, I thought they were really impressive. They went to Winterton, a good side, a lot of good names locally, a lot of really good players, and it was a real battle, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. And it was a cracking game, and Ferriby, they really fought their corner, scored 2 good goals, won 2-0, and I thought, I think it's clicked now. And they've had some really poor results since, particularly away from home, and lost a couple of games at Skeggy and Glassow, all really tight games. I think they're all 1-0 defeats. So really, really tight, but just like I say, I thought it clicked against Winterton, and then they just seemed to have dropped, and then now off the back of decent results, bouncing back up the table, hopefully start to build some results together, but they just seem to struggle away from home. I personally put that down to them being a name in that division.
I think it's a factor.
Obviously, they're getting good crowds at home, upwards of 200, 300, 400. Really good crowds, taking a lot away. I think like Glasshout the other week, didn't they? Their average was like almost doubled. Almost doubled with Ferriby going there. So for that level, considering they won the FA Trophy in the last 5 years, and then now they're in step 6, going to with all due respect, places like Skeggy and Glasshout, and Skeggy weren't even in the Northern Counties a couple of seasons ago. Nick mentioned Retford earlier, another sort of relatively new team to that level, and you're playing a team who, albeit it's not the same club, won the FA Trophy. So that's what I put it down to. I put it down to other teams seem to raise their game for Ferriby.
I think it's interesting you mentioned Winterton, because that's one of the few games I think where we've seen Morgan Brough, the loanee from Alperton, play in a central striking position. When now Tom Connor's back from suspension, Morgan's been kind of shifted out wide in a 3, hasn't he? And I don't think that gets the best out of him necessarily. Maybe if we mix up a little bit and play 4-4-2 on occasion with Corner and Brough as a strike force, we might look a little bit more dangerous possibly. But
which seemingly we did on Saturday. With the arrival of the new lad Taylor from Grimsby Borough.
Yeah, I mean, again, he's got a good pedigree, hasn't he, this lad, so it might change things in that final third a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned earlier, they're playing 4-3-3. It can often be 4-5-1. And how many times in the last, me and you have been watching Northern Counties all over, haven't we, the last 2-3 years, how many times do you see a team playing with one up front other than to be unambitious?
No, you don't.
Everybody's 2 up front, aren't they? One quick striker, one little fat striker. That's the norm. Ferriby haven't got
big man, little man.
Ferriby haven't got a little fat striker, but they have got the big man in Tom Corner. They've got Morgan Brough. I think under any other manager they would be playing 4-4-2, because it just seems to be that's the way it is at Northern Counties. Bowles obviously coached them a little bit higher last year, didn't he? Likes to play that way. Likes to play with 3 in midfield. But it is unusual at that level.
I think that 3 midfield does mean they control the game, doesn't it? When you've got people like Adam Boulder, when he's available, Russ Fry, people like Eddie Baird, and so on, Joe Shortland. They're not players who necessarily get beyond the strikers, are they? But they're going to control the ball in that central area, and that's probably a bigger reason in why they've kept so many clean sheets as well as having people like Lewis Exall and Jordan Douglas to fight out.
Yeah, and in fairness to him, I mean, you just named 3 quality midfielders.
I mean,
and Joel and Jamie Forrester.
He's
got a lot of options. So if he does go to, if he does go to 4-4-2,
well, look on the bright side. By this time last season, we'd seen 2 goals in the season scored against us.
I was saying not 2 goals scored.
About 2 scored at the other end. So there's an improvement on that side.
And they're on the fringe of the top 4, aren't they, in them promotion places? So like Rick was saying, if that improvement continues and they can find a formula away from home, then there's no reason why that top 4 place isn't available. But that stacks up a team like Colorado playing on Saturday, second from bottom in the league and have scored more goals. That's a little bit worrying, isn't it, at the same time, I think.
It is one of those leagues though where just in general somebody always seems to come with a run, don't they? And somebody's always top all season and drops away.
I mean, Winston last season in particular. It's not always easy. You look at Grimsby; they took 3 or 4 years to get up, didn't they? When they were sort of there or thereabouts. Anybody who thinks that Ferriby's going to just suddenly bounce back and be straight up into the Premier Division, I think fooling themselves.
You have probably seen more opposition teams than the rest of us in probably the last 18 months, 2 years. I know teams change, but sort of fundamentally they don't change too much, certainly not in terms of how they play.
I think what's noticeable the last 18 months has been been a lot of churn. Players, some of the Ferriby players last season have played for 3 or 4 clubs in the season, and that's been very acute in the last 18 months from what I've seen. There seems to be quite a bit of filtering down in this area as well, trickling down. Some of the lads who were playing at places like Claythorpe's and not getting a game, they're moving, to local sides, and you're probably getting better players at step 6 than you were 3 years ago.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Do we think therein lies a problem? The fact that Ferriby are picking from Ferriby at step 6, several teams at step 5. There's probably 9 clubs within a 20, 25, 30 mile radius. Up to Brid, down to Barton, Winterton, Bottisford. We're all picking from the same sort of talent pool. Whereas once upon a time, Ferriby were perceived to be one of the better teams. They got the cream of those players. Now we're in the mix to try and attract those players.
Maybe to an extent, but I think it's the same problem for everybody at this level, isn't it? You know, whether you're, if you're South Yorkshire based, you're competing with half a dozen teams as well for players, aren't you? I think it's all about connection.
It is that, but I think, to be honest, I think Ferriby have the better end of it because they've got players in, like Jamie Forrester, who left Scarborough. I know some people are surprised that because he's good enough to play for Scarborough, albeit he wasn't playing every week. Got Will Taylor recently released by City, and Ferriby have got him in. I think it's probably had a worse effect on teams like Hull Road and that mob from, is it Norfolk or East Hull or West Hull?
South Bedford.
The Dalton on the badge.
Yeah, I mean,
Kingswood.
You know, that team who are definitely not east of the river. They seem to be really struggling because there's a lot of players now
Jamie.
at Ferriby who, they might have the pick off before. So I think that's affected them more.
I think it's
anything else.
Budget's always counts, doesn't it? Whatever level you're at, I mean, like we said, Hall Road, East Hull, probably haven't got a budget up as far as we're aware. The same way East Hull haven't got anything up, they've got pots of pissing out down there.
Well, again, 50,
Travis himself's playing, isn't he? I mean, Christ's sake.
50, 60, 70,
Yeah.
No, well, I mean, I won't say the number, but somebody who was involved when Hull Road went up out of this division told me what their budget was. Is it 2 seasons ago now when they went up with that really good team, and it's a staggering amount of money, and they just can't spend that every year. And I think personally, from only what I've heard, I would imagine Ferriby are spending a lot more than that this year. So realistically, you'd think they've got to go up because it's
write it down there and I'll
put down a number. But no, it's tens of thousands on over a season, to get out of step 6, which just seems ludicrous. So unless you're getting that money from somewhere, which obviously Ferriby's attendances so far are really good, 300 and 400 at this level.
And local businesses engaged again into it, I think.
But it's no guarantee. Soccer have got that for years, haven't they? And they've not got out. I mean, we've seen their downfall at times, haven't we? Like Bottisford a few years ago in this playoff semi. So it's no guarantee. But you're talking about an awful lot of money that you're spending. It could be upwards of 25,000, 30,000 quid to not get out of step 6. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, there is a rumour knocking around that, should I say, that we are one of the bigger payers in the league. And a few teams at this level, a certain team, Glass Out way, we're quite chuffed to beat us.
Well, yeah,
we've
seen it, haven't we? We've seen
literally get win bonuses and that's it. So
same Danthorpe.
You see them
probably
when Glass Out won that game, they celebrated like
it was good.
Like they're taking a scalp.
Absolutely.
And I think when that game at Glass Out, the pitch was like kind of here, there, and everywhere, wasn't it? And one in great nick, and that's kind of the challenge, isn't it? I think for the Ferriby team, you've got to go to places like that and grind out at least a point.
I mean, sometimes you can try and play too much football. Some of them pitches are, notorious.
Well, that's the thing. When you turn up at Ferriby this season, what they have done a fantastic job of doing is getting the ground back up to where it was originally. Every advertising board is full. It's clean. Got a brilliant little setup with the bar and the cafe, and the pitch is looking great. Because it was like a ploughed field, wasn't it, last year from Waltham and his lack of usefulness at anything. So they just let everything go to rack and ruin. This year it looks like a Conference North setup, and to me that's the puzzling thing, is when the game starts and you remember actually no, this is Northern County, it's Division 1. And it's a bunch of really good lads, but
I'm like that.
The quality isn't there.
When I flick through the non-league paper looking for the scores, I start at the conference.
Not the back.
Like that.
No match reports in it.
Page from the back, you get 2 sentences saying Ferriby won. That's the realisation of actually where you are, I think, at times.
At least the one.
Well, leading nicely on. Chris Boulder has targeted an average of 2 points per game.
Has it?
Apparently,
Okay.
that's the story.
Sounds about right.
Not with his journalism.
Yeah.
In the know. It's, 12 games in, we're on 21 points, so we're just ever so slightly below that mark by 3 points, which you could argue was a win at either Glasshoughton or Armthorpe, or even probably Skeg, who are top, to be fair. So with that in mind, the next month's fixtures, or the next 2 fixtures, Hall Road, as you've touched upon, which won't be a walk in the park by any means, they are big scorers and we're not. And then Swallows Nest. They've only scored 14 goals in 11 games. So again, not the biggest of scorers. So is this the ideal opportunity for Ferriby to go on a run and pre-Christmas, pre-bad weather? Is it now the time to...
Well, on paper it is, I think, but again, these issues we've touched on, Hall Road is kind of that benchmark, isn't it? We'll go into a ground where the players are going to be motivated, because they're looking at some of the money on offer at Ferriby, thinking maybe catch the eye with the performance today. And as we know, at Hall Road, the pitch ain't going to be anything like the quality that is at Ferriby.
To be fair, it looks a lot better than it was.
Yeah, but it's not the same level. It's another of these pitches where it's up and down and
Oh yeah. Yeah,
but it's not level.
It's not level.
Yeah.
All the effort that they put into it.
But it's a local derby game. It's
you can't resolve it.
We don't want to sound like Waltham. It's a big local derby and all that. But it's a test for the Ferriby team to go there. And
yeah, but it's interesting that Ferriby have already won at. I was going to say Hull United. They're not Hull United either. They're Hull Divided. East Hull and Winterton, which are the 2 big derby games that they've had so far, and they've won at both of them. So that'll be an interesting marker. And then Hall Road have dropped to second bottom, despite a decent result at Retford. But that'll be a good game. Yeah, I think that'll be a really big test for them to go to. Obviously, there'll be a bit of needle in there. There's quite a few sort of players in both camps who've played for the other, or have played together, and obviously it's a bit incestuous, isn't it, the local scene? Pete's mentioned everybody plays for 14.
I think the last time Ferriby went there it was cancelled, wasn't it, on just before kick-off of the friendly?
That's right,
Yeah, Chris Boulder wouldn't let the team play on it.
It was too hot, wasn't it?
Yeah, the cracks in the pitch or something, wasn't it? Was that the story?
That's correct,
Yeah, so, like you say, a little bit of needle there, I suspect, between the 2 camps. We'll see.
No, I won't say not needle as such, but I mean, they'll be up for it.
Come on, it's trying to sell tickets.
Yeah, but see, you're on that same time, so that's going to screw it.
Well, we'll come on to that. We're disappointed that somebody somewhere hasn't... I know it's not Ferriby's decision to make, it's probably both teams, but would there be scope for playing a game on a Friday night? I mean, I mentioned it on Twitter and I was kind of like shot down a bit, to be honest with you, but bear in mind, Crook played from the Northern League, played a game last Friday, 451 crowd for a game, that's like double what they normally get.
Yeah, I mean, I think
go for Friday night games.
The only danger is you persuade them to change the time and you don't get a good crowd.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's we're biased, aren't we? Because me and Pete are like the 2 people who really would go to both.
There's been a few who tweeted to me, but there might be maybe 10.
Yeah, we don't think it's worth the effort of...
Possibly not. I mean, we don't really know, do we? That's the thing.
And City should be getting 20,000 plus every week, shouldn't they? This should be a regular thing, It's not... It seems like a one-off almost, isn't it? It shouldn't really be a one-off, should it?
No, I mean the thing is, we've said before, when City's numbers have dropped off so remarkably, so very few have gone to Ferriby.
Yeah.
Whereas I think this season there are a few now going.
Yeah, bizarrely. Yeah, that was something else I got written down.
You're seeing more City scouts and shirts and bits, and from what people say and what people tweet, I can think of 4 or 5 who I regularly see tweeting who now going.
Well, I mean, the thing was, when the City attendances first started to drop off, Ferriby was still owned, seemingly, or in the consciousness by the Allens. Albeit it was the Forster branch of the Allen family. And then, when they went, then Ferriby became absolutely dreadful. For your casual football fan who wants to go and watch a team who, losing 1-0 is a great result. So there is that, whereas now, obviously, it's reborn, it's back under Les, there's been a lot of positive press this last few months, so I can kind of see that. It's a much nicer place to go, Ferriby, now.
Yeah.
There's going to be a good, friendly crowd.
And it's a fiver. not 12.
It's a
12,
five,
15,
exactly.
or 18.
I think we
Yeah,
talked
that
about it on
definitely
this
plays a
before. You know, the number of people who ask me, how much is it? And you say 12 quid. That seems a lot for that level of football, when at the time, as much derided as the City concession scheme was, there were some games where City was 12 quid, wasn't there? There was a good half dozen games a season.
And it's not just that, I mean,
where you could pay the same to
there was times when you was going and paying 12 quid and you knew after 5 minutes that they were going to get battered.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like one way football.
There was genuinely a game where
it wasn't entertaining.
I would have made it.
That-
For
that
like
maybe it
10
was-
minutes later against Spennymoor, I
That
think it
would-
was.
it was
And they were already
really
3-0 down.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you're 2-0 down after 10 minutes,
It's
you're
not
going to come
good
back.
contest.
And if you pay 12 quid and it's a cold Tuesday night, you're thinking, well, I'm going to do this again.
Yeah.
So, but it just is to feel good throughout the club, and I think that's attracted some of the City fan base, which, you know, in fairness, I don't know what the City crowd will be. I'm not going to talk about City separately. I don't know what the crowd will be against Derby. It was only a couple of thousand up, like about a week, 10 days ago. So hopefully there will be a crowd for that. But it is a shame. I'm gutted because I'd like to have seen All Road and Ferriby and then maybe gone on to City afterwards, or if they moved it to Friday night, we'd still have had a decision to make. But it would have been much more of an attraction. But
or even a Sunday. I know people don't want to play on a Sunday, but they've played a few FA Vars games
Yeah,
on Sundays.
in fairness, I mean, Hull Road are a club. This last few years, they've tried lots of things, haven't they, to get people in.
Yeah.
So I don't. They're certainly not done it out of any spite. I think if
Definitely not. No.
if they thought it would spike the crowd, I think they would have.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I still think you'll probably get a couple of hundred Ferriby fans there effectively, won't you?
Quite possibly, yeah.
I think it'll be
Well, in fairness,
in
Ferriby
context. It'll be
Ferriby had a couple of hundred there on Saturday when City were at home, didn't they? Which,
Yeah.
I mean, everybody derides the City attendances, and 10,000 from where City have been is a pathetic attendance. But historically, and certainly over, if you go back 20, 30 years, 10,000 crowd at City was unheard of, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know, if you go back to the mid-90s, 10,000 would have been, everybody
Yeah.
would have been cock-a-hoop.
Absolutely.
Because it was well over, I mean, kids today won't understand, 10,000 used to be 2.5 times the average at City, or 2.5 times a good crowd.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So it isn't to be sneezed at in terms of, you know, traditionally local football. City, go back 20 years, City would have been getting 4,000 or 5,000. Ferriby, All Road would have got 2 men and a dog.
Yeah.
So to have a situation where City might get 12, 14,000 crowd, depending on how many Derby bring, maybe more, and there'll be a few hundred down the road watching All Road Ferriby. That's not to be sneezed at.
Yeah.
I think it's just been a little bit unfortunate in the league planning in that Ferriby and Hall Road are often playing at home at the same time.
Yeah.
And frequently they're against City as well, which just sort of makes it all very difficult for the casual supporter to you know, like myself, who don't go to City away games, I go non-league.
Yeah.
I don't know if that matching thing applies at that level anymore, does it? Because previously Ferry being able to say, aren't they, you know, we don't match with all City, did they? When you're down at Northern Counties level, whether you can say,
Get what you're given.
you get what you're given, you can't just say, we want to avoid all City.
Just a bit, you know.
Yeah, it's a shame.
It's just bizarre anyway, because you sometimes get like 4 home games. I mean, that happened at All Road last season, didn't it?
Yeah, I think Ferry was
It's
had a
happened a
home
couple
match in
of
December or something, is it? One home match?
One in December, one in January, but then 4 of the last 5 are home games. So
the scheduling's, was it last season when Hall Road had something like 7 out of the last 8 away, and Gould I think had something like 6 of the last 8 away.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
When they were both battling relegation, and it's like, who did this?
then it came down to the game where they played each other anyway.
When they did it.
Yeah.
We'll touch on other teams while we're at it.
I'm not touching other teams. Not animals.
Trust you to bring it down to the gutter level. Elsewhere in the Northern Counties, in the Premier, anyway, we've got Brid, managed by Brett Agnew, friend of ours, ex-Ferriby forward. He's doing a friend of ours,
Friend of the staff.
friend of the show.
Yeah.
He's doing well at Brid. He's doing a player manager role at the moment. He's kind of like reintroducing himself after his knee injury. They're up to 6th. A little bit hit and miss at the moment.
People get a bit worried, won't they? People are getting worried about having to fork out for promotion. They're doing alright, aren't they? Yeah.
Well, that's
Doing
something
all right.
else that we've kind of could have touched on really. Certainly that would benefit Ferriby in the Division 1 and could possibly benefit Brid in the Premier Division is the 4 teams up from each division this year.
Yeah, they're
It's a
putting another
chance, isn't it?
step
It's a
in,
chance.
aren't they? So,
Yeah, due to the reorganisation step
so
forward.
it's a really big season for
It
them.
may be,
Especially in the Premier Division, where it's traditionally with a 1 up into
Yeah,
which is
so
all
that's
very
nice
hard
little thing,
division.
isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Brid have got a really good chance of finishing top 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they
I'm
started really well, didn't they, Britain? And then we've just had some mixed results lately, which, again, they're another team, they're well supported, they're well backed. I know Nick's had a pop at Pete, so...
So it was merely
Nick needs to remember. Nick needs to remember that they're often in the same place on a Saturday morning. So I will be sure to bring Pete across one week. But no, well supported, well backed, got a good manager, got a good squad. They're another team who I really think. I think them and Ferriby, if they both don't finish in the top 4, they will be gutted this season.
Yeah.
Because if it's not the aim for both, then there's something wrong, because they're both good enough to do it.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see when the 2 teams meet in the East Riding Cup, won't it, later this year. I imagine both teams will feel relatively strong lineups, so we should get
Drawing each other in the next round,
so
haven't
we
they?
should get a decent game there, I think.
So I think there's a couple of good games. I noticed City 23s are going to Pocklington, who are sort of doing well and put together a good team in the Upper Prem. So yeah, I think there's a couple of decent teams going to fall by the wayside. So.
Yeah, you still play Hull United, don't they, which would be a bit confusing.
Yeah, maybe that's why I got confused there.
Yeah.
So, well, there might be an upset there. I reckon.
Well, it's just
It's
it's good preparation for Humber Prem for next season.
He still might win.
Well, when they move into East Park in the new stadium there, that'll be that's where it all starts.
$20,000 season.
When they drain the duck pond.
Drain the pond.
And then we've got Barton. They've just had a slow start, got rid of the manager, brought in the lad from Works up on name escapes me.
Yeah, Denton.
Denton, thank you, yeah.
Tom Denton.
Tom's brother. And they brought in Gobby from Winterton as his assistant, Watson. He's there as well. So and they've had a noticeable...
just don't click there for Dave Ricardo, did it, for some reason? You look at them plays they had at the level, and that was a good squad he's had at Barton. It's just not really
good squad,
clicked for some reason.
Budget, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Had a good win at the weekend, didn't they?
Yeah, so
Should we say it more weekend,
they've shipped a few out, haven't they, as well, and kind of mixed it up a little bit
Yeah.
again.
This is the start of their resurgence, do we think?
I suspect
There we
so.
go.
Given them players they've got there, and and a manager who's been there and done it.
It's
It's
a strange thing there, because they played Grimsby the other week, and Grimsby put out a stats pack, and Barton's top scorer was Ben Hinchliffe, who used to be at City, and Ben had scored I think he'd scored 3 times more than Grimsby's top goal scorer, but they were nowhere near in the league, which is ridiculous, the amount of goals he scored in a poor team. So, hopefully they go on a run. It's a good place to go back.
You just look at that squad and it's just baffling how they were kind of in the bottom 2 or 3, weren't they? Something just wasn't right, was it, for whatever reason?
No, scoring loads of goals but getting beat, which is obviously that's what's not right.
Talking of squads brings us on to Tadcaster Albion, Curtis's mob, Evening Curtis. Hoping to have him on one day. His Tadcaster team are doing quite well. I think second at the moment. They were briefly top. Starting the season really well. I think have they lost one game?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you'd asked me at the beginning of the season how they would have fared, I'd have said nailed on to sort of finishing the bottom 3 really. Given the kind of the way the budget's gone there, and the way he was bringing players in from a lower level. But absolutely, he's done a fantastic job so far as Curtis, and I've been one of them eating a bit of humble pie there, I think.
Yeah, well, Nick.
You've got some good players, haven't they? I mean, obviously.
He's got some good players.
They took Jake from Brid.
Yeah.
Jake Day, who was it Curtis tweeted last week, says he's backup striker when Darren was trying to poach him for Ferriby. So
it was an illegal approach.
Well, no,
Darren's
a nobody, so it doesn't really matter. But no, they've got Jake. Just Sam Willenham back from Scarborough, who has been struggling at Scarborough. I was talking to somebody about him recently.
James Williamson from
Willow. James Williamson, ex-Hazel Rangers.
Good luck.
One of our kids who's gone on to do well locally. Dad's a cracking guy. If he wants to give us all free fish and chips, then it's up to him, but he's a smashing fella.
Jack Walters is still down there, I think.
Yeah, so he's got some good players. To be fair, I think pre-season he did his usual, didn't he? Upset everybody.
Yeah.
Won't be Curtis without upsetting half the squad with his comments about players taking holidays in pre-season, which kicked off a massive furore on Twitter. So I thought he might have lost his dressing room before he did got in it. But no, fair play to him. It'd be alright, I'll be after the Grimsby job again or something soon.
Yeah.
The
links will appear, won't they, I'm sure. Mysterious links will appear in the press.
Right, we'll wind this section up now then. Just to say that this podcast is done in conjunction with View from the Allotment and fanzine, which issue 13 is coming out within the next couple of weeks, I believe. Matthew's taken over now, he's doing a real good job of it.
The last guy was garbage.
Shit, sat back and did nothing. Issue 13 is available to order. It's via the Big Cartel site, VFTAE.bigcartel.com. If you can go on there, or just go on the @VFTAE Twitter site, there'll be a link on there to buy the latest fanzine. And just a quick mention, Matthew's asked us to point out that the money's in from the sponsored walk. £230 was raised for Hull Food Bank. £280, I can't read me on handwriting. £280 for Hull Food Bank, which was a great effort, and £100 of the extra money went to sponsoring Ben Leyland, one of the Ferry players, the Ferry right back. So Ben's got a new haircut out of that, £100. So fair play.
Matthew's got
So that's what he's been having under the bandage.
What the old allegedly.
Allegedly, he is at a Rooney, isn't
it? It says VFTA, so it's commitment to the fanzine.
Right, so that's this section wound up. Let's go get a drink and we'll be back in 2 minutes with section 2, and we will cover Hull City and just professional football in general.